There is one shoe on this list that you almost certainly already own. You have probably worn it 100 times and never once thought of it as elegant. French women over 60% wear it constantly, with silk skirts, with tailored trousers, with blazers on a Sunday morning, and it is quietly responsible for a significant part of why they look effortless when nothing else in the outfit is doing anything extraordinary. We are getting to it. But first, the thing nobody said out loud when the advice shifted to just wear flats and be comfortable. The advice was not protecting you. It was giving up on your behalf. And every morning you get dressed inside that framework, it costs you something. Not dramatically, not in a way anyone would point to directly. Just enough to change how a room reads you before you have said a single word. American women over 60 were handed a playbook. Go flat, go wide, go safe. French women were never given that playbook. And the difference, the reason a 64-year-old woman in Paris stops traffic just by crossing a street, starts from the ground up, from 5 specific shoe silhouettes that French women return to across every decade, every trend, every birthday past 60. If you have ever walked into a store and felt like nothing on the shelves was made for the woman you actually are, like style quietly stopped, including you somewhere around 55, and nobody said it directly, this video is the answer to that feeling. Before shoe number 1, there is a principle French stylists follow about ankles, a specific named rule that explains why 3 of these 5 shoes work when everything else fails. We are getting to it at number 4. And by the time we get there, you will understand why it changes not just how you wear sandals, but how you think about every shoe you put on after today. Number 1, the low block heel pump, and the heel height that changes how every room reads you. Most women over 60 abandoned heels. French women refined them. And that single difference between abandoning and refining is the difference between a woman who disappears when she walks into a room and a woman who does not. Here is what most women were never told. There is a heel height range between 3 and 5 centimeters, roughly 1¼ to 2 inches, that podiatric research confirms does not stress the knee, does not overload the forefoot, and does not require you to brace against the floor with every step. Within that range, on a block or stacked base, one thing happens that no flat shoe on earth replicates. The pelvis realigns forward, the calf lifts visually, the leg lengthens, and the weight distributes evenly enough for a full day of actual living. Not a special occasion. Tuesday. Inès de la Fresson is 67. She has been the most photographed French woman of her generation for 4 decades. She has worn this exact shoe her entire adult life, not to look younger, not to perform elegance for anyone watching, because she found something that worked, and she never had a reason to stop. In camel, cognac, bone, or deep burgundy, this shoe works under tailored trousers, under midi skirts, under wide-leg jeans. It never reads trendy, because it was never built on a trend. It reads finished. It reads like a decision made by someone who knows exactly who she is, what to look for. Rounded or almond toe, a sharply pointed toe compresses a forefoot that has widened after 60, and the pain arrives within the hour. Leather upper that holds its shape. Heel no taller than 5 centimeters. In the US, Sam Edelman and Clark's Hamble Oak at entry level, Cole Haan and Vince at investment level, both built to last a decade rather than a season. One thing to stop immediately: wearing the heel height you wore at 40. That number has changed. Finding your new number, somewhere in that 3 to 5 centimeter window, is the fastest way to change your posture, your silhouette, and the silent message your body sends before you speak. The shoe coming next is one most women have tried, given up on, and blamed themselves for. What happened to their feet was not their fault. Not even close. Number 2, the ballet flat. And why what happened to your feet was never your fault. If you tried ballet flats in the last 10 years and gave up on them, something specific happened. Your feet hurt by noon. Your knees ached by evening. You concluded that ballet flats were simply not for women like you anymore. And you moved on, carrying a small, quiet belief that your body had failed a basic style test. It had not. The shoe had failed you. After 60, the fat pad on the ball of the foot begins to thin. This is biology, not failure. Arches shift. Width increases. A ballet flat with zero cushioning, a paper-thin sole, and no structural footbed is not a shoe designed for this foot. It was designed for a 24-year-old who has not yet learned what 8 hours on the wrong surface costs you. French women, who have worn this shoe since their 20s and lived through what bad construction produces, learned which version works. American women are still being sold the version that does not, in stores that have never once explained the difference. The version that works has a padded insole, a toe box with enough room to not compress, and a heel fit precise enough that there is zero slipping when you walk. That last detail is the one almost no one mentions. Slipping at the heel changes your entire gait. The step becomes cautious, slightly shuffling, slightly braced. And that gait, not the shoe, not the outfit, not the age, is what people actually see when they watch a woman walk into a room. The wrong shoe does not just hurt your feet, it changes how you move. And how you move is everything. Repetto Cendrillon is the French reference, built with a padded insole that most ballet flats at any price point do not match. In the US, Sam Edelman's Felicia flat holds through a full day. Madwell's leather ballet flat, leather, not canvas, carries enough structure to be genuinely wearable past noon. Now the detail French women use that almost no American woman has been told. Wear your ballet flat in nude to you, not beige, not blush, the shade that most closely matches your own skin tone at the ankle. It creates an unbroken visual line from hem to floor that adds length and lightness in a way no contrasting flat can replicate. One sentence to understand, free to execute, and one of the most powerful proportion tools in the entire French wardrobe. The shoe coming next has survived in French wardrobes for over 60 years. Not because of how it looks, but because of what it silently fixes. And there is a good chance you have been living with the problem it fixes without ever knowing it had a name. Number 3, the loafer. The shoe that fixes the problem you did not know had a name. Most women do not know that an unsecured heel changes everything. When a shoe does not hold the back of the foot, when there is any lift, any movement, any moment of the heel separating from the shoe, the body compensates instantly and automatically. The toes grip. The step shortens. The gait becomes cautious in a way that reads, to anyone watching, as age. Not the number, the physical expression of it. This is what slides create, what mules create, what every backless shoe creates on a foot that has changed in stability after 60. The shoe feels comfortable. The way it makes you move does not feel like anything until you see it. The loafer eliminates this entirely. Heel counter that secures the back of the foot completely. Structured upper that holds without gripping. Sole thick enough to absorb real impact across a real day. Silhouette that reads polished without a single additional effort, because the architecture is doing the work. Think about the woman outside the cafe, the one who stops traffic just by crossing the street. Part of what you are reading as effortlessness, part of what makes her look the way she looks, is simply that her shoes hold her correctly. The body does not compensate. The step does not shorten. The movement is what movement looks like when nothing is working against it. The penny loafer and the horsebit loafer are the two styles that work best after 60. Both carry a horizontal detail across the vamp that draws the eye across the width of the shoe rather than upward toward the ankle. French women choose shoes the way they choose everything else, for where they direct attention. Inès de la Fressange has been photographed in horsebit loafers across 4 decades of street style. Not the same pair, the same decision. Base Weegens, the original American penny loafer, run $120 to $160 and are built to last a decade. For the horsebit, at a reasonable price, Steve Madden and Madewell both carry versions that read far more expensive than what you will actually pay. Straight leg or wide leg trousers with a full break. Midi skirt at the calf, never cropped pants. They interrupt the leg line at exactly the point where continuity matters most. French women do not interrupt. They extend. We are now at shoe number 4. And this is the one the entire list has been building toward. The ankle rule. Here it is. Number 4. The ankle strap sandal. And the rule that changes everything from here forward. French stylists call it the ankle visibility rule. Here is what it actually means. After 60, showing a clean, deliberate line of ankle, framed correctly, in the right context, is one of the most powerful proportion tools available. Not skin for its own sake. The specific, intentional exposure of the narrowest point between hem and shoe that signals lightness and ease in a way that fully covered footwear simply cannot produce. Women who understand this principle look longer and lighter and more put together with visibly less effort. Women who were told to cover everything wonder why their outfits feel heavier than they should. It was not the outfit. It was the instruction. The ankle strap sandal is built entirely around this principle. It frames the ankle rather than hiding it. It provides the grip and structural security that slides and mules cannot offer on a foot that has shifted instability, which is why French women over 60 pounds wear ankle strap sandals, while American women were quietly advised that showing skin after a certain age was something to minimize. It was never something to minimize. It was something to learn to use. What works? 2 straps maximum, or a single vamp with 1 clean ankle strap. Flat or low block heel, leather upper, leather molds to the specific contours of your foot over time, in a way no synthetic material does, which matters on a foot that has changed in width and arch. No heavy hardware, nothing that competes with the line the shoe is designed to create. In the US, Birkenstock's ankle strap styles in narrow leather, Clark's Naturalizer, and Franco Sarto all carry versions in the $80 to $130 range that follow this silhouette precisely. The French woman does not match her sandal to her outfit. She matches it to herself, to her skin tone, to the neutral that anchors everything she wears in warm weather. The sandal becomes invisible. The ankle line is what remains. And once you understand why that line works, you will see it in every photograph of a French woman over 60 you have ever looked at and thought, why does she look like that? Now, the shoe you have been waiting for since the first sentence. Number 5. The shoe you already own and have never thought of this way. The white leather sneaker, not the chunky, platform, logo-covered athletic shoe that dominated American casual footwear for the last decade. The low-profile, leather upper, minimally branded sneaker in white or off-white that French women over 60 wear with silk midi skirts, with tailored trousers, with blazers on Sunday morning, with linen dresses in July. The shoe that looks like it is not trying, because it is not, because that is the entire point. Here is the mechanics of why it works. A heavy shoe adds visual weight that travels upward through the entire silhouette. A chunky sole, a thick platform, a maximalist profile. All of it reads upward, and everything above it reads heavier as a result. A clean white leather sneaker in a slim profile reverses that. It keeps the silhouette light. It keeps the proportions open. And it signals something that is worth understanding clearly before we talk about any brand or any price point. French women over 60 are not dressing for youth. They're not trying to recover something or prove something or close a gap between who they are and who they used to be. They're dressing for ease. And ease, after 60, is a more powerful signal than youth ever was. Youth is something you had. Ease is something you arrived at. That is not a consolation. That is the upgrade. And every shoe on this list, the block heel, the ballet flat, the loafer, the sandal, and this one, is built on that same foundation. Not performing, not compensating, arriving correctly in shoes that work. Veja is the French reference in this category. $120 to $160, recognizable without being loud. Common projects at around $400 is the investment version, built to last a decade. In the US, New Balance 574 in white leather and the Adidas Stan Smith with a subdued logo, both under $100, both doing exactly what this shoe is designed to do. The rules that do not move: sole slim to moderate, never platform. Upper white or ivory, never grey. Branding minimal to invisible. The moment the platform rises or the logo takes over, the shoe stops being a tool for ease and starts making a statement instead. French women over 60 are not making statements with their shoes. They are making everything else possible. Go back to that woman outside the cafe, 64 years old. Not performing, not compensating, stopping traffic not because of what she is wearing, but because of how completely she has stopped fighting herself. Every shoe on this list shares that quality. None of them are trying to solve the problem of age, because French women over 60 do not experience their age as a problem. They experience it as an arrival, and they dress for where they have arrived, precisely, intentionally, in shoes that hold them correctly and ask nothing extra of them in return. Youth is something you had. Ease is something you arrived at. You now know the 5 shoes, what to look for, what to avoid, and what has been working against you without your knowledge. The only thing left is to start. And starting with any one of these changes, how you walk into every room from this point forward. If you want to see how French women build an entire wardrobe around this same foundation, 10 pieces, worn 40 different ways, built to last years and never need replacing, that video is right here. It is everything that comes after the shoes. Watch it next.